Fort Pasir or more commonly known as Labrador Battery, is located within Labrador Park at the southern tip of Singapore's island. It was one of the 11 coastal artillery forts built by the British in 19th century to defend the western passageway into Keppel Harbour against piracy and foreign naval powers. The strategic value was recognised by the British as early as 1843 when plans were made to set up defences to protect Singapore, which at that time, an important trading post founded by Sir Stamford Raffles of the British East India Company in 1819. During the 1942 Battle of Pasir Panjang, the fort played a supporting role, albeit a limited one, in defending the Malay regiments against Japanese invasion at Bukit Chandu. The British destroyed part of Pasir Panjang Fort in 1942 before they were surrendered to the Japanese. It was closed and abandoned after the war, and in 1995, the site was recognised by the National Heritage Board as one of the 11 World War II sites in Singapore. In this video, we will be looking at the features and purpose of Fort Pasir Panjang, the Battle of Pasir Panjang, and how it relates to the world history.
On the eve of World War II, Fort Pasir Panjang has built in an additional of two 6-inch 37-ton guns that could fire 102-pound shells to a distance of almost 10 miles. This defense position was part of a strategy based on the popular belief that an invasion of Singapore would probably come via a coastal attack, and so the placements of these guns fixed facing the sea. However, they could be turned around. In fact, this was the case during World War II, when the guns were reversed almost 180 degrees to fire the advancing Japanese Imperial forces in the Pasir Panjang and Alexandra Road area. But they proved to be ineffective against invading land forces because of their very flat terrain. This British machine gun pillbox faces the sea as part of Batu Belair's defense lines. The pillboxes were built as machine gun placement to resist invasion from the Southern Sea and protect the 12-pound gun on top of Belair Point.
As a British settlement, Singapore was an imperial asset due to its free trading port that connects to China. In addition, Singapore was an important coaling station and also a security post, and it was located between three British naval stations: China, Australia, and India. In an effort to keep Singapore open to British fleets and commerce in the 1880s, the British put in place a defense strategy that would secure the new harbour of Singapore and deny anchorage to hostile fleets. The new harbour was later renamed as Keppel Harbour in 1852 after Admiral Sir Henry Keppel, who carried out an on-site survey to build a deep-sea port. He was also known for his successful campaign against piracy in 1842, which led to a decline in piracy and thus becoming less of a danger to the trade of Singapore from the 1850s. As part of the review of the defense of Singapore against threat from European powers in the region, British decided that forts to be built on either sides of the entrance of the new harbour. So in 1864, a fort complex with concrete bunkers, underground tunnels, and gun batteries were built, complete in 1878, and was called the Fort Pasir Panjang. Together with Fort Siloso, which is now Sentosa, the location overlooked the harbour and was part of an extensive network of coastal defence built by the British colonial powers of Singapore. Labrador Battery played an important role during World War II to defend against the Japanese Imperial forces in Pasir Panjang and Alexandra Road area. Together with Siloso Battery, both forts sank a Japanese ammunition vessel travelling west on 12 February 1942. The next day, Labrador Battery fired on Japanese soldiers coming from the West Coast Road and Jurong River and also aided the Malay Regiment in its heroic fight on Pasir Panjang Ridge, which is called the Battle of Bukit Chandu, in which the men of the 1st Battalion Malay Regiment, led by Lieutenant Anand, fought bravely to the last. Finally, the guns of the battery were later destroyed to deny the use of the Japanese.
Singapore was barely populated when the British arrived to set up a trading post and a military base. However, for a seafaring nation, it had immense strategic importance due to its position. It was to become the largest British base in that part of the world, even larger than its presence in Hong Kong or anywhere in India. Singapore's existing status as one of the world's most important ports traces back to the British presence there, which provided resources and protection for the cargo ships moving back and forth between China and Europe. People survived either by providing support to the military base or to the huge port the British set up as a waypoint in the region. Very little has changed. Singapore has more industries now and is a major exporter in the region. but it still serves as a middleman for trade between the region and the rest of the world. Its port facilities are ultra-modern and rival those anywhere in the developed world.
Fort Pasir Panjang was an important site for the British as it protected their colony and interests vested in Singapore. Singapore was the administrative capital of British Malaya. It was an important port for the British as it was strategically located, linking the Far East and the West.
Since the loss of the British in World War II and their subsequent departure after the independence of Singapore, the importance of the fort has waned. Technological advancements in air defense systems and the build-up of SAF capabilities has made the fort obsolete. Today, it is a war memorial. The purpose it serves is a reminder not only to the people in Singapore, but to the world of the catastrophes of war. Hopefully, this reminder is strong enough and humankind will not go down the same path again. We have seen the rise and fall of empires, namely the British and the Japanese. We have also felt the effects of colonization. The British colonized Singapore as an effort to increase their dominance and to become a superpower. After the arrival of British in 1819, trade in Singapore has increased considerably, from a small fishing village to one of the busiest ports in the world. Trade has brought migrants from around the world into Singapore. Fort Pasir Panjang was protected by soldiers of different backgrounds all over the British Empire. There were soldiers of British, Indian, Australian, Hong Kong and Singapore origin.